Hi, I'm Enrique. Welcome to Enzyme Art TV. Today we're going to talk about how to draw a dragon. Now, dragons are an extremely diverse group of creatures. So for drawing purposes, I've split them up into 3 diverse groups. The Western European dragon, which has 4 legs and wings, like the dragon from Shrek. There's the Eastern Asian dragon, which has a snake-like body, like the dragon from Dragon Ball. And finally, there's the Wyvern, whose front arms are its wings, like Smaug from The Hobbit. I've narrowed it based on bone structure. That's because body type is going to have a big influence in how we design our drawings. To me, the most complicated is a Western European dragon, so that's the one we're going to concentrate on today. The cool thing about dragons is that they don't exist in our world, so we have a lot of room to work with when it comes to aesthetics. If we break this dragon down into different animals we can reference, I'd say the body resembles a cat, the wings are like bat wings, the neck is similar to a snake's body, and finally the head can resemble anything from a crocodile to a lion, depending on the artist. So for today's example, I feel like making the head look sort of lizard-like, maybe even a little bit like a crocodile. Today's video will be dedicated to going over the head, so let's get started. So I'd like to clarify some terms that get sort of tossed around ambiguously. We have the muzzle, which extrudes from the animal's face and is made up of the jaw, nose, and mouth. The stop is where the bridge meets the skull. We have the back of the lower jaw, which I want you to notice is shaped a lot like the muscle called the masseter muscle. This stretches all the way up to the temple. It's used for chewing, so it's generally pretty strong and prominent. Also, you know those pointy things you see sticking out of the faces of dinosaurs? Those are actually called something. Those are called frills. So modern day reptiles have remnants of them, but they're a lot more subtle and they're used only when the reptile wants to appear larger to enemies. Okay, so now let's talk about trends in body parts whose names might sound a little more familiar. There's generally an overbite on many dragon designs, where you can see some of the teeth sticking out over the bottom jaw when the mouth is closed. When you draw the teeth, you don't want to make them evenly spaced out. Otherwise, your dragon's going to look like Barney the Purple Pedophile. Try to draw them more randomly laying out. Dragons in general also tend to have slit pupils. Slit pupils are most commonly found in nocturnal animals that ambush. So think of how different little details affect your dragon's character. The eyes can either look forward or look outward. Forward-looking eyes make a triangular shape, and the outward-facing eyes make a diamond shape. Evolutionarily, predatory animals have forward-looking eyes to survey and stalk animals, while herbivores tend to have outward-looking eyes to keep a wide range of vision to watch for enemies. Just a cool observation. Drawing a head is like opening a present. It usually starts with a box. This will give me a structural basis I can work off of. The head usually tapers downward from the back of the skull as it reaches the front. It helps me think of the head if I break it up into 3 segments. One spanning from the back edge of the jawline to the inner corner of the eye. The middle one sandwiches between the inner corner of the eye and a little before the nostrils and the bridge of the nose. And the last one from here to the end of the snout. I like to use the back of the head as a basis that I can reference all my other parts from. A lot of Western European dragons I've seen also have sort of a dog-like muzzle, mouths that look menacing, like they can clamp down on enemies and prey. When you're drawing your muzzle, especially in profile view, really pay attention to the way it connects to the rest of the head. And always compare the size of the head to the muzzle. Make sure one mass does not overwhelm the other. The proportions can be deceptively challenging. A common mistake here would be to draw it too flat and wide, which is ultimately going to make it look like a block of styrofoam, which I don't think you want. Make sure you capture the bulbous yet protruding look that the muzzle has. Now, when you're drawing in your lines of curvature, I find the most realistic route is to put your curvatures where features separate. For instance, in the eyes or the nose, and so forth. Try not to go overboard with these. I want to place the eye in the rear box. Where exactly in the box doesn't really matter, as long as it's relative to the curvature of the cheekbone. The cheekbone wraps around the eye socket area, so locating your eye too far away is going to give it a very special look. In some cases, the mouth even looks like it connects to the cheekbone. For the frills around the head, you can always just use the basic pointed shape. We can also make them sort of fan outward if you want to get fancy like that. you can draw a box in perspective, then you have the idea down of drawing the head in this view. This will help you find the points along the snout to keep things aligned. Based on how you like to design things, you can also use a framework to balance out the symmetry of the features. The 3/4 view brings in several different challenges. In drawing terms, you're bringing in slight perspective and overlapping. A common problem would be to draw the rear portion of the jaw protruding out from the side of the face. If you do this, your head's gonna look like Gumby. It's gonna look lopsided. When the head rotates, perspective and overlapping come into play. So part of the back of the jaw is gonna be hidden behind the cheek. Take note of the curvature of the lower part of the upper mouth. Remember, there are an infinite amount of ways to draw a dragon. This is merely one method. That being said, if you learn one approach, it opens the doors to making your own style. In our next video, we're gonna go over the dragon body. If you like this video, feel free to share it on Facebook or your favorite social network. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter for rapid updates. Don't worry, we don't spam. Thanks for watching and stay creative.